Hi guys, and welcome to another one of your replays. This time we have Slidahl from the TRSDG clan in his 110. And I love getting replays of tanks I don't yet own, and the 110 is not a tank I own. This is a huge XP game. Really big XP game. And just spoiling that for you in advance. But watching this game for the first time, I was a little bit divided on whether or not I should include it on the channel. And the more I watched this game, and the more I actually thought about this game, I've realized something. And sometimes it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. And I've been playing World of Tanks for quite a long time. There are a lot of players out there who have been playing longer than me, but basically, when it comes to Malinovka, and if you're top tier heavy, I would never, ever, I don't think I have ever camped the field. Unless in the early days I may have done it in TDs, but definitely as a top tier heavy, I have never camped the field. And even now, when I'm playing Malinovka and I see top tier heavies camping the field, I get a little bit annoyed because basically I'm just going to go into free cam mode for this. When you're top tier heavy, I would have always expected top tier heavies, let's get rid of this, to move up towards the hill or to maybe move across and basically lead the charge down the other side of the map. You're the frontline tank, you're the spearhead, you're the guy who's supposed to be taking the shots for your team and basically leading the charge. And I've always felt a top tier heavy camping in the field is basically a waste of a top tier heavy. But a couple of things in this game have changed my mind about the necessity for having a top tier tank in the field. One of the things that changed my mind is we have a T-34 here who is basically going to sit AFK for this entire game. So Slidahl's team have already lost another top tier heavy. But the other thing is the last couple of map changes to Malinovka, and I don't know why my camera is moving so slow, it's usually a lot quicker. But the changes over here on this flank mean that as a top tier heavy, if you weren't going over to the 9-0 lines or up the hill, I would expect a top tier heavy, especially a well armored top tier heavy, to basically advance down this line here and to make use of the cover, to make use of the dips in the ground, and basically to advance towards the enemy base down the right hand flank. But as I say, I've come to a realization that the way the map has changed and the changes that Wargaming have made to the map mean that enemy tanks can also advance up here and they can get into some really strong positions and get a lot of spots into your spawn, get a lot of spots into your base, and someone has to actually stop them. So on the old versions of Malinovka, I would have felt it was a complete and utter waste for a heavy tank to camp the field. But as Slidahl's about to show you, I think it's becoming more and more necessary to have at least some tanks camping the field and protecting the flank along the 1-2 lines. It's not always a good idea to rush over to the 9-0 lines. So as I say, this is a monster game in a tank I haven't yet played, and we are just going to go. So it's very rarely that a replay I get causes me to reevaluate my thoughts on how a game should be played, or a certain map should be played. And Slidahl has just moved up. T-34-2 spotted in the middle. So what is happening here is Slidahl is not only defending this flank, but he is also spotting enemy tanks moving up the one line. He's gotten his first kill on the T-34-2, tracked him in the middle, so he got some assistance damage. And he's just taken a big hit from an IS-3, and now he's bouncing a lot of shots. So those tanks who have moved up to H1 are spotting him. He goes for a blind shot on the IS-3. And tanks down here can be very, very difficult to dig out. So you can see that only a Lux has gone over to the other side of the map. A Ferdy is holding it towards the back of the map in B3, and everyone else is camping the field, including the scouts. There's a Chaffee. I don't know what the Chaffee is doing, but basically, as I say, this game has caused me to reevaluate, because had most of his team decided to head over to the 9-0 lines or head up the field, this flank would have been lost. The enemy team would have just rolled into spawn down the 1 line. In this particular game, not in every game, but enemy team were being really, really aggressive, and unfortunately, most of Slidahl's team are camping. Slidahl misses a shot in the T-69. Don't know what the T-69 is doing advancing across the open. But Slidahl gets a nice shot into him. So some pretty nice alpha damage on the 110. He's already up to 1,200. And he waits for his gun to reload before poking the corner and taking out the T-69. In the meantime, someone has taken out the AMX, who was on the 1 line. But they're under pressure. There are tanks north, there are tanks on the 9-0 line, and there are tanks camping further down the map. And how often do you see a game lost like this because basically your entire team decide to camp the spawn? You've basically given control of the map, at least 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the map, to the enemy team. But Slidahl is just staying here. He's basically playing like a bunker. He gets a nice shot in, and then if Panther 2 or Jag Panther 2 is advancing, gets a nice shot into the Jag Panther 2. And it gets him spotted. Su-3485, difficult shot in just his turret. Jag Panther 2 is still here. Going for the lower glacis, and takes him out. But in this particular game, as I say, there's Slidahl's 3rd kill. Nice shot in the turret of the T-3485. But how often do you see a team lose because they don't move from cap on Malinovka? So a nice shot into the side of the T-32. And now the T-34 is advanced. 8.62 reload on the 110. And fairly nice alpha damage. So, and there you go. A little bit of tunnel visioning. Doesn't spot the IS-3. Takes a shot from the IS-3. Turns, gets shot by the T-25-2. Tracks the IS-3 in the open. And now he's bouncing a Cromwell. Is IS-3 going to advance? The IS-3 is advancing. I really don't know why so many of the enemy tanks are advancing across the open. This IS-3 is completely ignoring Slidahl here. and gives up his side. So Slidahl's on kill number 4. He's done 3,900 recorded damage, but he has hit a few blind shots as well. And they're still losing. It's 8-10. In fact, it's probably safe to say it is 8-11 because the T-34 behind Slidahl is still AFK. And gotta love guys who buy a premium tank just to go AFK in it. So they're holding. They're still losing. They've pulled it back to 9-10. And there we go. Another tank advancing up the one line. So Slidahl gets a nice shot into his side. T-34 bounces. The armor on the 110 seems to be quite good. Not much to aim at this T-34. Gets a nice shot in, and I think that may have been a track shot. Someone else takes out the T-34. Blind shot on the T-44 as he was moving into cover. No idea whether or not that shot went in. But they've pulled this back to 10-10. $4,562 damage recorded. We know he's done more damage. So this is a huge damage game, and it's also a huge XP game, as you're going to see. But one of the reasons I've changed my mind about needing someone, not the whole team, but someone to stay in the position Slidahl's in is you're going to see that Slidahl does some pretty good spotting damage as well from this particular game. So T-44, nothing to shoot at. That's never going to go in. That's not a good window to try and shoot through. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit because nothing seems to be happening. It's a while since I watched this replay. Jagdpanther 2 is spotted on the other flank. And Slidahl decides to move and relocate. So we know where basically most of the enemy team still are. And Slidahl is finally making his move. He's going to advance. He needs to be the front line. Jagdpanther 2 spotted in the distance, and the Ferdy gets a nice kill on him. It is now 11-10. For the first time in this game, Slidahl's team are actually winning. So Slidahl spots the Churchill, who also looks to be AFK. He gets taken out by the Cheery. Now the T-44 has been spotted. Blind shot in the T-44. No idea whether or not it went in. It doesn't look it. So, nice pre-aim. Gets a shot into the side of the T-44. And T-44's gone stealth. So Slidahl's continuing his advance. He gets spotted. Don't know by what. aiming to where the T-44 was last spotted. And now he is going to advance up. So, KV-1S, T-25-2, both spotted. He puts a shot into the KV-1S, bounces the KV-1S. And again, this KV-1S is just advancing, an unfortunate bounce for a kill shot on the KV-1S. Takes KV-1S out for kill number 5. Someone else takes out the 25-2. So there's just one enemy tank left, the T-44, wherever he's hiding. Don't know what managed to kill the T-34. Oh, actually, maybe it's just a glitch on the map. So T-44 is hiding down around the buildings at the back of the map. Slidahl's on 5,580 damage that we know of. Bounces on the 110. Slidahl turns the corner, gets a nice shot into the back of the T-44, tracking him. And finishes him off for kill number 6 and Top Gun. So, that was a huge game by Slidahl. It was his mastery badge in the 110. It was also a high caliber Top Gun and steel wall. He finished top on XP with 2,021 XP. That is a huge XP game. He did 6,242 damage, so a lot of his blind shots did go in with the 6 kills. So how did he get that huge XP total? Well, in addition to firing a lot of shots, hitting a lot of shots and penning them with a big damage total, he also received 15 hits, 10 of which were non-penetrations. He took a potential damage of 1255, but he spotted 3 enemy tanks. He damaged 10, he destroyed 6, and because of the position he took up, he did 3,729 assistance damage. That was through spots and through tracking. So between the damage and the assistance damage, that turned into a huge game. As I say, 2,021. He made 82,000 credits for that game in a tier 8 heavy. So it was the first game of the day, 3,300 or 3,031 XP times 2, with leaving him on a total of 6,062 XP. But yeah. That really brought home to me, because of the way the map has changed, the tweaks that Wargaming have made to it. The gameplay has changed on the map. You've got a lot more tanks moving up the one line along by the lake than you do actually heading up towards the 0 line and up onto the hill. And if you don't have heavy tanks, if you don't have TDs protecting that particular flank, I'm seeing more and more games being lost. If a scout or a good hull-down medium tank can get into that position on the right-hand flank, then they can do a lot of damage. So while I don't think I'm going to be camping the field in a top-tier heavy anytime soon, I do see maybe myself using that position as a TD. But that doesn't take away from the fact it was a huge game. Huge damage total, huge assistance damage, got some nice spots, protected one flank, and I mean, you may call it camping, but I do think the meta on the map has changed. But he did actually protect one flank, and especially with a T-34 that was AFK behind him. So he was really the only tank on that flank for much of that game. And when the time came to make his move, he did. He relocated, he went down the center of the map, he moved into the enemy base, and they finished off the remaining enemy tanks. But you cannot deny it was a huge game. And congratulations to Slidahl. I really can't remember getting an XP total that high before. So, like I say, congratulations. It was a big game, and thank you very much for sending it in to me. This replay really did cause me to rethink how Malinovka is played. I usually look at Malinovka from a kind of a fast medium tank or a scout point of view, but I do see the necessity for having some big guns camping on the one line. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.